Jan, thank you for inviting me back round to your home. We recently completed a garden transformation working with you and Bill. How did you find Utopia?
Well, we found you online. We'd had a couple of chaps out and gave us a few quotes, but we weren't really that enamoured with them. And we went back to the web, had another thorough look, and then Utopia popped up. We read your website, which really pulled us in. We liked your ethos, the young team you had, the fact that you were horticulturally trained, not just another landscaper. And then we thought, we'll get you out. And then when you came out, that was it. You know, we were pulled in even more. And you just had such a passion. We could see the garden in our eyes, how it was going to look. And you just went with our dream, really.
Can I ask, why did you choose Utopia over the other contractors that you had round?
You're in a different class. The other guys were mainly landscapers, just oozed professionalism. You had good ideas and you had the passion, and that was really what sold it to us. You were dressed nicely, well spoken, not just some chap in a pair of shorts, so to speak. And we just felt more comfortable with you.
So when we've completed the project, you mentioned that you really liked the ethos and the culture within Utopia. Would you mind sort of expanding on what it was that you saw, that you liked?
Each day, everything was clean, orderly, tidied at the end of the day. You had good, clean equipment. The van was tidy. There was no slapdash, and the workmanship was second to none. It was really good. Everybody was interested in what they were doing. Everybody did a really good job. They knew their place. They worked as a good team, and just came over as a really good quality. The team were happy. They worked well together, and that was really good. The fact that one of the things really we picked up on, the fact that you bought your own loo was amazing.
There's something I've done from day one, so it's not just COVID. It's I don't like the thought of anyone going inside people's houses.
Yeah, well,
so
that's
it's always been
it.
your own loo.
That was great, because normally you'd have workmen in and out. There was no actual interruption within the house. You know, we could shut the door, and you had your own work quarters, so to speak.
Yeah,
so that was
that's how it should
good.
be.
Very unique, definitely unique.
How did you find the process of working with us on a day-to-day basis?
It was fine, actually. We quite look forward to seeing you each morning, believe it or not. But I think you had a pretty difficult start with the heat and everything. But no, once you'd set up, there was no disruption really. Having that loo was amazing. We liked to make you refreshments because it was a hot day. I wouldn't have called that disruptive.
No.
So
You guys looked after us so well.
yeah, well, it was amazingly hot, But as for disruptive, no, not really. Occasionally you'd knock on the door and say, look, what do you think about this? We've come across this, we've come across that. How do you want us to deal with this, deal with that? But on a day-to-day basis, and then at the end of the evening, lovely and tidy, cleaned up. So we didn't really feel, disrupted at all. It was a good process, yeah.
From when we initially met right through to project completion, how involved did you feel throughout the process?
Totally involved. I remember we talked the idea through with you. You came up with some idea for us to look at. And then on a daily basis, things change somewhat. Sometimes, change of material and what have you, but you came up with some great suggestions as we moved along. For instance, the gabions and the cobbles, all those different things, the small pebbles, everything down to the flooring, So it was, you brought samples back. How do you think about this? Oh, quite like that. Oh, what about this? And it just went on, and we were totally involved, and you achieved a super finish for us. It was lovely.
I think that's the thing for me is most important is making it bespoke to you. It's your garden rather than it's my ideas solely. It's a collaboration, ensuring it's a garden that you would enjoy.
Well, this is what we like about you as well. We found out that you are quite unique in what you do with your designs. They're for that client only. And this has been looked at quite a few times by some people. And it's really wowed them. I said, oh, we'd like to do that. I said, he won't do it. It's unique to me.
So for me, the best part about my job is the freedom to be creative. And there's always problems that incur, design changes, particularly it doesn't always translate from the design on paper when you get into the garden. I always like to make things suit the space, and depending on the soil until we start excavating, we don't know, it's an unforeseen, it's unknown. So there's always bits which we tweak and change. How did you find, because I know in this project we implemented a few different changes like the paving and other areas. How did you find the process with the changes?
I remember initially this was going to be much smaller, and I know it took an awful lot of digging out, but once you'd started digging out the area, we realised that actually we'd like to go a bit wider, we'd like to go a bit more into the garden. With regard to the paving, we weren't anticipating having this lovely porcelain. We thought we were going to stick with the original and just try and match it up, but when it turned up it wasn't quite what we liked. And you suggested this, you got some samples in, and you got some samples in at the edging, and laid them down and said, how do you feel about this? And we said, yeah, this is really nice, you know. And again, with the gabions, we love them. We weren't quite sure how to finish off that edging, if you remember. And you suggested getting gabions in. I remember Bill was a bit like, not quite sure about that. I said, no, I said, I trust Adam. I said, he has good judgment. It's a good solution, and it will keep the loose chippings tidy. And it fell in with the rest of the plan. So, yeah.
So did you feel, I guess you felt comfortable?
Yes, I did.
Because for me it's important to build the trust, because I like having the freedom to be creative. It
was your idea to do the sleepers upright, and what a wow factor they've been. Yeah. They've been amazing. Everybody comes in the garden and they go, wow. It's lovely. You know, you've got some terrific ideas, and we trust your judgment. It paid off.
And you guys love being involved as well. I remember when we extended the patio, we kind of stopped work and I was out here with the spray lines until we'd kind of got the patio size right, which is important rather than just sort of going ahead and cracking on. It's bringing you out, making sure you're happy.
Yeah, I mean, I think we interrupted your flow and we said, oh, hold on a minute, we'd quite like it a bit bigger actually. That's a really good shape. We like what you've done there, you know, drawn the shape out, curved and what have you. And you were, you know, you said, yeah, why don't we go ahead, we'll dig out more and see if you're comfortable with that. And we were. Good choices.
So if any, what would you say are your highlights of the project?
Well, the cobbles coming in, one thing, and once the sleepers were in place previously, but seeing the cobbles come in and adding to it, it suddenly dawned on me that it's almost like a coastal garden. And having lived on the coast so much, it for me was just a little piece of the coast in my own backyard. It was lovely, beautiful.
Was there anything in particular that stood out whilst working with myself and the team?
Really professional, but at the same time, really good fun. Such a good crew to work with. Really were flexible. Really, one thing was your commitment. I've never seen anybody work quite so hard as the team, especially in the weather. You know, you said you're going to be there on time. That particular time you were there. You're going to finish on time. That was it. And you always, at the end of the evening, said, we're finishing now, is that all right? Are you happy with everything at the moment, how we've left things?
So as you know, I'm really passionate, and for me it's never just a project or just a job. I love developing and building relationships with you, with my clients, getting you involved and having fun. So it's nice for me to hear that you really enjoyed the process.
It has. It's been amazing, really, because you never know what you're going to take on. You know, you engage with a landscape gardener company, and you never really know. But from the time we first met you, we just had that good feel about you. You know, you were passionate, and we just felt it. It was lovely.
Can you remember what problems we encountered and resolved? And did you appreciate the transparency in the discussion?
So I remember from the outset, you brought the diggers in, and it was soon noticeable that it was going to be a major problem because the soil was so poor. There was so much builder's rubble within. There was no way it was going to be dealt with in the timescales that you'd originally quoted. And you were really good. You came to us and said, look, it is really bad. It's much worse than we'd anticipated. And so we're going to have to extend the timescales by a couple of days. We won't charge you anymore, but we're just letting you know that it's going to run over to what we'd originally planned. And that was really good because we had no idea the soil was so poor. And it was just full of rubble. We always know with a new development there's going to be a certain amount, but this was unbelievable. I mean, I don't know how you managed it really, and especially within the heat, but you did. You came up with that solution, you'd extended the time out, and you didn't charge us for that, and I thought that was really good. We really appreciated that.
And that goes on to the whole relationship, and the communication is so important, so everyone knows where they stand, everyone knows about all the different changes and why a certain change has to be made.
Yeah, that was good. That's what we liked, transparency, trustworthy, and upfront.
So since we've come in and made the transformation, how have you been utilising the space now?
It's been fantastic. It's been a whole change to my life. We've had some really beautiful weather, and so I get up in the morning, I come out and have breakfast, bring the laptop out, do whatever communications I've got to do. I potter around, but we've had some brilliant birthday parties here as well. The family have been wowed by it. They've been wowed by the garden, so that's been lovely. It's like another room. It's like another room. It is. We come out here all day, breakfast, lunch, dinner. We've got some nice lighting for the evenings. But generally, the weather's good. We spend the day out here. And I love gardening anyway and pottering around, but the whole area, it's just opened up a whole new life for us. It's really made such a change.
So before we came in, I guess you wouldn't come out much, you couldn't use the garden much?
No, there was not enough area to sit in. This is when we have the large table and the chairs here. It's like a summer room. It's beautiful, and we've been fortunate enough to have good weather. But I get up, I look through that door in the morning, and my heart sings. It's just wow, it really is. For small space, quite compact, but it's got everything here. It's lovely.
Who would you recommend Utopia to?
Pleased to say I've already recommended you to a friend of mine. She and her husband came round to have a look at the garden. They'd obviously wanted to know who I'd add in and how it went. And they were really chuffed with the garden. But you were trustworthy, did a good job, and they could see your standard of workmanship. So happily, they've taken you on and you've done a good design for them. So it's win-win all round. They're really happy with my recommendation.
Thank you. Thank you so much for allowing me to pop round today and do all this. It means so much. And also it's incredible to hear how much this has impacted you. It's an amazing feeling.
It's been my pleasure, Adam. Yeah, you've done such a great job here, it's the least I could do.